Hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What's going on, entertainment? So today we're talking Bad Boys Gemini Filmz, okay? Not to be confused with Zeus or Such a Playboys. All right, so make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what y'all think about this video, okay? So where we left off, of course, this is the next 3 episodes. So it's episode 10, 11, 12, and 13. Yeah, around those amounts, right? So D ends up, of course, leaving right where we left off. The way Justice reacted, I kind of knew they did something. Like, you know when your nigga leave, like, oh my God, he really left? Nah. He reacted like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Now this makes sense. The sneak peeks and, you know, the little stuff y'all was telling me, I'm like, everything, you know, kind of makes sense now. I'm like, oh, wow. You really took them cakes, D. Like, whoa. So of course he's in shock. He starts to talk to Darian about it, and the whole time Darian still didn't even know that, you know, he had the Debbie cakes, right? The way he reacted, it was just so obvious, as if he was like, wow, like my secret got away. So Kelton's talking to Vonnie. Vonnie's really mad because Kelton kept holding him back during the fight, which this is the thing. Kelton, if Vonnie had, you know, popped you, he wouldn't have been wrong because you kind of deserved it the way that you was holding him back with the military hold. As much as Kelton, you know, he's a bigger dude in my mouth voice, he still looks like he could be very strong. He looked very much military, you feel me, figure. So I wouldn't be shocked if, you know, he really hurt Vonnie by holding him back because he looked like he got a good grip. Grip that meat. It looked like he got a good grip. So Vonnie ends up leaving because this not the house for him. He like, I'm not nothing like these bitches. Like, I just gotta go home. Like, I just not like these bitches. I just gotta go. And I'm like, no. Vonnie to me brought the entertainment throughout the series. No shade. He carried the show. Him and Diego carried the first half of the season on their back. Okay. Sorry. They did. Jacob and Alex, to me, have not brought as much on the show as a Diego or a Vonnie. And it doesn't have anything to do with fighting. It's the personality factor. They lack it a lot. I feel like those two actually bring it on the show, especially Vonnie. Okay, shout out to Diego. For Loco Diego. I didn't forget about you, Diego. Diego's still drinking their Four Locos to this day. So, of course, the cast reacts to Vonnie getting sent home. It was mad fake. I can tell that they didn't really like him, of course. They're Team D. It's obvious. Jacob says something interesting. He says, I wish that, you know, Vonnie went home before D went home because I feel like D should have stayed because he's a mature man. I said, what show are you watching? Mature? No shade to D. I'm not saying he was a horrible person, but like if he was mature, half of those stuff that he got into in the house, he wouldn't have did. Like those arguments with Vonnie, the iPhone thing, that wouldn't have happened. So like those are the wrong choice of words, my man. Like that confused the heck out of me when he said that. I said mature. So they just felt like Vonnie should have left. That way D could left. I do kind of get what they feel when it comes to that because it's like, damn, like they really sent him home because of you, and now you're going home. So it's kind of like, but that happens all the time with BGC. Like they would send home, let's say 2 bad girls that fought, one bad girl that fought, and then they'll send home another one right after. Like when Sarah Mimi fought, prime example of BGC 11. When Mimi was looking at the camera, she was just like, stop filming me, I'm not on camera. Yeah, I'm not on camera. Stop filming me. Yeah. Okay. Y'all, they sent home Mimi, and then shortly after they sent home Sarah. So it's like that happens all the time. But he at this point chose to leave on his own accord, right? Karan doing him a big one with this series. I'm sorry. Like the character development, I appreciate. Let's say not all the episodes are the most exciting, but we see a character development for each character, and I appreciate that. And that's what Zeus lacks. We don't get to really know them. It's like it's a whole bunch of filler. We don't really get to see the day in and day out type of activities. And hopefully now that Zeus got their new headquarters, they make some new changes. Okay, don't be just changing the building, change the concept still. Right? So shout out to you, Quran, because I really did like that. So Kelton sits down the house and he reveals that he has HIV. Okay, and then their reaction to me was disappointing because they acted as if they never heard of it before, especially Darian. And especially like Jacob, they're like, "Oh, I'm not too familiar with that." I'm like, "You guys are gay and of color. What do you mean you've never heard of it before? Like, do your research." Like, it was kind of like, damn. You would have thought he said like he was. You feel me? Like he's born with an extra leg, and you know, and it's a small leg on his butt. Like, oh my god! Like there was like, oh, what's that? But that was very brave of him to open up about it, to be honest. I feel like, thank God he was on this show and not on another show that was Bad Boys related, because I don't think he would have got the same reception and them being so willing to really listen to him. Had he been on, let's say, like one of these other network shows, they probably would have been a lot more rude. That's all I'm gonna say when it comes to that. So shout out for his bravery in telling everyone about that. I wish he had did it a little bit sooner, because you never know how someone who's not informed of what that is would have reacted, especially now that he's been there for at least a little bit. So thank God that you said it. Let's say D, he might not have, been so open to that conversation. He might have got mad. Like, you never know how somebody's gonna react when you tell them something like that. So especially when you're living with somebody like that. So I'm just saying, of course, if you're smart enough to know what that disease carries, just because you live with them, that doesn't mean you're going to catch it. But somebody who's ignorant, they might think that, if I get what I mean. So they're like really receptive to it, and he starts to get emotional, and Justice kind of comforts him, which I appreciate him doing. But later on, he switches his tune, in my opinion. Right. So speaking of Justice, his boyfriend, y'all, I guess broke up with him. He's gone on the phone. He's like, I don't want to be with you no more because you say you licked that whipped cream off of Vonnie's Debbie cakes. And he's like, it wasn't like it wasn't like that. Like I went and like it's still like on the taste of my tongue. Like what? Like it's not even like what? So the boyfriend and him end up breaking up. He ends up crying. He's doing a crinkly lip and all. I did kind of feel bad. But then again, I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. You gave D your Big Debbie cakes. So guess what? I don't feel guilty anymore for laughing. Because guess what? You cheated on him. And you didn't tell him that. You just told him that she was licking on Vonnie's Big Debbie cakes, because we know Vonnie's probably a bottom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's lies. But when it comes to D, you had that mass top energy in your cakes, and you ain't let them know about that. That's where the issue in lies. I'm just saying. So the boyfriend probably had some. I say hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis, and he knew, he kind of felt something was happening more than you licking the whipped cream off the buttock. Okay. So of course, Darian, being the true friend that he is, he defended him on the phone with the boyfriend. He's like, no, he never did anything. Like, stop. Like, he never did anything. Like, relax on him. Like, he really wasn't even on that type of timing with him. Like, it was simple. It was safe. Like, don't. Okay. Meanwhile, he screwed your man. Okay. I take your man. He did that. Right. So in those few episodes, we see Kelton get drunk, and he starts to feel a little bit touchy-feely. Okay. So he starts to get super, super drunk, and he kept telling people to suck his tickle bitties, girl. He suck my tickle bitties, suck my tickle bitties, suck my tickle bitties. He's shaking his chimichangas, and everybody face. Okay, Selena had nothing on him. He was just shaking it all up and through the screen, getting in the screen. I know the cameraman probably felt comfortable. So I'm like, ooh, okay. And of course, he was getting touchy-feely with like the Darians and whatever, and they felt away because they're like, especially Justice. Justice felt like, why you pushing up on me when you never asked me if I had a boyfriend? Like, you never really got to know me like that. Like, basically, you don't know me like that, so don't be touching up on me. That is a good point that he mentioned, because whether you're drunk or not, consent is important. Like, don't be touching up on people if you don't know them like that, or if they don't even want to like that. But do I think Justice was being a little bit picky and nitpicky? Yes, because I feel like at the end of the day, he's super, super drunk. And this is the first time I kind of see him drunk throughout that first episode where we really see him drunk. I never see him drunk that to that limit before then. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. So that, in my opinion, deserved at least a pass, because he didn't mean no harm by it. Okay? Like you this is what you really should have. You should have took the Barney Bear and you should have scalped that motherfucker and threw that bitch out the house to get him back. Okay, and then he would have learned his lesson. So we have the gay life coach Laura come in. Shout out to Karan, another creative idea. He has a life coach come in and they do like this activity with an egg. I like the activity that they did. He seemed very informative and he knew what he was talking about. And like I said, none of these shows did that. He thought of doing something like that. That's creative. I respect that and I like that. That was cool of him to have the life coach guy come in. And they do this activity involving like an egg. And that was about it, to be honest. So then we get a new boy. His name's Maj. Not to be confused for Nicki Minaj, Mirage. No, his name is Maj. Okay? It gave. He was giving. I said, okay. Karan knows how to pickle. I'll say that. Say what you want about Karan. Okay? He knows how to pickle. I said, all right. He came in or whatever. And he's from like Pennsylvania. Comes in the house with a bottle. And he has a clothing line. And we notice, like, off the bat, he has his eye on Darian. He has his eyes on Darian, like, hard. And just off of the rip of them making the toast, he's like, wow, you look good. Like, damn, that's crazy. Ugh. And I'm like, I felt that before. Anyways. So then Darian was receptive to it. He was happy, okay? He was very happy. That boy was hot and ready. Little Caesar had nothing on that motherfucker. He was, oh my God, busting it open. Caesar pizza, okay? What they be saying on Little Caesar pizza, pizza. Like, the pot was hot and ready for him. So, they were flying back and forth. They're taking a shot or whatever. They're asking him questions. They're getting to know who he was. This is what I will say. He need to not dye his hair. He looked better with his hair not dyed in his natural hair color. That hair color in the confessional, I don't like it. Like, keep your natural hair color, bro. You look good on the gram and all that. Like, the dyeing of the hair, I hate when certain dudes do that because it ruins how they look. Like, it makes them ugly, in my opinion. And, like, he looks better with just his natural hair color. Like, don't dye it. Leave it alone. Okay? So, of course, he's giving very much mass energy, and he fit very well in the house. Darian ends up calling him fresh meat. I said, ew. I see you want that salami all up inside your big W cakes. And let's talk about the attractiveness and the hypocrisy when it comes to the show and the cast members. Not the show, but just the cast members. Nothing on the show. They let people like Darian and let's say Maj or like some of the other cast members touch up on each other, but when it comes to Kelton, it's a problem because he's not as attractive as some of the other cast members. That in therein lies the problem. Y'all can't pick and choose on who gets to touch who, just because one is more good looking than the other. The rules need to go for everybody. So Darren can't be touching on people like that. Kelton can't be touching on people like that. Maj can't be touching on people like that. Jacob can't be touching on people like that. Vonnie couldn't have been shaking his big W case on people like that. So it needs to apply to everybody. And that's why I think the hypocrisy comes in with this cast. So they do like a Western challenge where they complete like tasks. And afterwards, Justice decides to do a house meeting. Like, he comes and he's like, so like, guys, like, I just feel like I'm feeling like house meeting. Like, so like, can we have a house meeting? Like, let's have a house meeting. Like, yeah, you like me? I like you too. Let's have a house meeting. Yeah. So, Kelton, like, we feel like you mad weird. Like, you're not really trying to get to know us, and like, you so like distant. Like, I don't get what's about it. Like, So of course he's in his feelings. He's mad because he feels like Kelton was too feely and touchy on him, and he feels like he should have, minded his P's and Q's when it comes to touching upon people or whatever. I feel like having a house meeting for that was unnecessary. You could have pulled him to the side. Everybody could have pulled him to the side separately. Having a house meeting, y'all made the boy feel ganged up on. Thank God that Maj saw through the BS and felt like he was getting picked on because it was obvious. You guys were nitpicking with this boy, and it wasn't even that deep. Like, the boy didn't mean to really, SA you guys. But consent is consent, and you can't use that as an excuse on the other hand. Okay? So they feel like Kelton isn't comfortable and isn't trying to get to know them. How is he going to try to get to know y'all when y'all clicking up? Okay? Y'all kitty clicking. How is he going to try to, get to know you guys and everything when y'all always like this? Literally, Alex is up Jacob's ass, just walking around like. So it's like, how am I going to get to know you if you're just, okay? I'm going to have to pull you out of his ass. Nobody wants to smell the shit. Like, damn. You guys are clicked up. Y'all been in the house way longer. So of course, it's not going to be the easiest for the boy to get to know y'all individually because y'all all clicked up. You guys have formed a bond separate from him. His bestie in the house left, Vonnie, and now he has to get to know the rest of y'all. I'm just saying. But like I said, Kelton, I don't think this show is for him. He's too peaceful. That's all I'm going to say. So we get a new boy, Keith. Keith is an entertainer. I said, oh, wait a minute. I'm watching the show. And I'm like, that's that boy I follow on Instagram. And he came from my YouTube because I'll be seeing him sometime in my comments and stuff. So I'm like, wait, that's the boy that's one of my entertainers. Shout out to Keith, y'all. That is the entertainer, okay? So one of my entertainers made it on a show, y'all. So congrats to you, okay? So he comes in. He's like, my name is Keith, but call me Keith. Call me Keith. Call me Keith. I get that. You don't know why? I don't like people call me Evner. Call me Pierre. I hate when people call me Evner. That's something I want y'all to get to know, because when y'all do, I don't really correct y'all because y'all know me like that. But it's like, in real life, I hate when people call me Evner. Call me Pierre. I'm Pierre. You feel me? Like, I just feel like the E word, I don't even like to say it. Like, you don't know me like that. You feel me? Pierre. Hi, Pierre. Pierre. You feel me? So he just kept correcting him. He's like, Keys, like spinach and quiche. Yeah. So he keeps correcting them or whatever. And the episode sort of ends there. They're getting to know him. And we get the preview for the next coming episode. And it looks like, y'all, Mr. Kelton's in trouble. Okay. So if y'all like, please donate to the Cash App. Y'all, I'm taking Cash Apps. I'm playing. If y'all can, please, I would appreciate it, though, for real, though. Okay. So make sure you guys, please, if y'all can't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. And we out, babies.
Ain't no personal thing.